All right, we are streaming on all the things. We've got our lives as we do here. We a few times a week, and we come in. Generally, we try to schedule it, but I come in very relaxed. I'm like from my workout. We still got the post-workout glow going. Today, we're talking about reinventing yourself, and I actually want to share. This is not. This is truly a conversation, and it's so good to see you guys. Let me know where you're coming in from. I always love to know where you're coming in from. As always, put your questions in the chat. I will make sure to come. I am streaming to a few different places, so I will make sure that we get them. Thank you. You guys already got the super chats going and everything. Thank you. All right, who do we have? Diane, it's so good to see you. Carrie, it's good to see you. Stephanie. All right, I'm so excited. So hi guys, it's so great to have you. So we're talking about reinventing yourself. And I thought coming into the new year, this eclipse that's happening, the Chinese New Year, the end of the wood snake, we are moving into a fire horse. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will explain. But truly today, I wanted to share, this is more of like a personal conversation that I want to have. I do teach identity and I talk about reinvention all the time. And what I really wanted to speak into is, I'm reinventing myself at 47. I'm truly starting over, and it's not because anything was wrong. And I think there's a big connotation around reinvention that your life has to have blown up, that something really has to be bad in order for you to want to change, that you have to, your marriage had to implode, that you had to like lose your job, that all these things had to occur. And I want to share with you, like right now, I am surrounded by boxes. I am moving this week. I am going to another country. Like I will be traveling, and I would sit here and tell you that I know exactly where I'm going to be a year from now. I don't. What I'm doing is leading from desire and I want to go into the exact steps of what I'm doing and why I feel so expanded and excited and happier and more activated and alive, and how I'm taking action without having all the answers, how I'm doing this in real time with you. And I want to just share with you in real time, like what it looks like. Like it's not all roses. There's like second guessing and different things, but I really want to be clear. One of the most exciting things about reinventing yourself and why I love identity so much, and I always say identity trumps manifestation, is because you can change something about yourself at any time. If you've been given an identity or bought into something about who you are from, your culture, your family, society, you can change that. If you don't like your money situation, you can change it. If you don't like your career, Terry, what is going on, girl? It is so good to see you. Everybody, Courtney. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God, you guys are just amazing. I love all the love. I love all the heart. Like I'm like emojied out in the best of ways. I mean, I love your emojis. So thank you. So I wanted to really share this today because, especially if you're in midlife, this is the point when everyone, I mean, let's be honest here, 40 is like the new like 20. Like and if you haven't heard that, I just started it, okay? Midlife is the main stage, baby. I'm like, you got to grab the microphone because you are the star, the director, and the producer. So today I really wanted to come in and share how I'm reinventing my life at 47. I am literally starting over when nothing is wrong. And when I say starting over, I don't mean that like I'm burning the ships down and like nothing like that. What I'm talking about, and I really want to say something that may make people uncomfortable. What if nothing is wrong and you still want more? Have you felt that? What if your life is good, stable, respectable, even enviable, success, all that? And something in you keeps nudging you and whispering and keeping you up at night and having you revisit those dreams that you didn't follow through on. And you hear this voice inside of you that says, is this it? Like, is this really all there is? Especially if you've had a lot of success early on in life. Or if you're sitting there and you're like, I have the kids, got the great marriage, I've done a lot of things. Why aren't I satisfied? And there could be a part in you that's like, what is wrong with me? Like, I remember looking at friends of mine and I'm like, why don't I just want to like stay in my hometown, why didn't I want to be a teacher? Like, why did I want to be an entrepreneur? Like, why did I want to go to New York City? Why did I want to travel the world? Why did I want to then have like the laptop lifestyle? Why did I want to write a book, podcast? Like, why do I still keep asking me what's next? Because I want to feel alive, right? And so if you hear yourself, and I would love to hear, have any of you found yourself asking, is this it? Not from drama, not from breakdown, but from standards. See, standards is what holds you to a higher level. We didn't come here to stay status quo. At least I didn't, and the people that follow me didn't. The women in my audience and community and men, they're going like, how much better can it get? Like they achieve something and I will even say inside Limitless Academy, they're like, and then this happened. It was so good. I go, good. Now ask, how could it get even better? And they're like, oh, right? Oh, and so at 47, I'm reinventing my life, not because anything collapsed, not because anything was wrong, not because I'm sitting there and I'm like, this isn't working or this. And it's not because I was so unhappy. It's because I refused to live average and ordinary. That's not why I came here. And that's what this conversation's about today. It's about asking ourselves and listening to the whispers, the nudges that we hear from our higher self that's saying, I have something else for you. What if you made a right instead of a left? What if you went to that party and said yes? What if you went on that date? What if you said yes to that business opportunity? What if? And that's what this is about. So if you've ever felt that quiet nudge, just type more in the comments. I really would love to hear, and I'd love for you guys to share. And if you felt that, it doesn't mean that you're unhappy. And maybe you are. Maybe you're like, I was unhappy and I needed to be redirected to something better, right? When life intervenes, I'm always like, hey, if you have the motto that everything's working out for me, if you lost the job, if the marriage didn't work, if something happened and you had to, move to a different place, if you really buy into the motto, which I think is like the most life-changing motto, is everything is always working out for me, then you know you're being redirected to something so much better. So what if you want to reinvent a part of your life or your entire life, not because you're unhappy, but because you don't want to settle, because you know there's more, right? Generally, the women in my community, they want extraordinary. And they know that there's more, and they know that their default programming of less than or was inherited. It actually was never them. So here's what I call the good life problem. And it is a problem because this is what I find so interesting. We've been conditioned to believe that reinvention requires crisis, divorce, burnout, rock bottom, cancer, illness, midlife meltdown, right? Like, that's not my story. My life is good. It's good right now, right? But I remember, and this was about a year ago, actually, almost to the day, which is crazy. Almost to the day. I actually can't believe that because I find timing fascinating. I was in a loving relationship, and it was everything that I had said I wanted. Somebody that's like, let's do marriage, let's do kids. They hadn't been married before, and they were ready for all the things. And we had a good relationship, and there was nothing wrong with it. My family liked him. Like, everything was good. We got along great. But I sat there, and he said to me, when you ask yourself, is this it? Like, this is it for me. And I had a very real conversation with myself where I was like, I had to listen to this little whisper in my heart that's like, this isn't it. There's something more. Can you trust in the more and let go of the good? Can you let go of okay, good enough to go for great, to go for extraordinary? And I think we all have that. Can you stay in the career that's safe? That's good. There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody likes you. You know what to expect. The money is good. You're good at it, but you don't love it. You're not lit up by it. You're like, I could do this for the next 20, 30 years. I mean, if I had to, yeah, it's fine. There's a lot worse out there. When you start saying there's a lot worse, you're not living from your heart's desire. But that also takes a special leap of faith, right? So I was in a relationship where I was told, right, the life, the baby, the stability, checked all the boxes. And I found myself, I have a beautiful home. I'm living in Florida. I'm near family. And I was like, God, like, I don't know, something doesn't feel right. And I was like, this just can't be. And so it was confusing. It was also confusing because I just lost my mom, which was a big identity anchor. I'm Italian Irish in my family, and she was my person, right? And so how do you explain walking away from good? And especially when everyone in society and culture is going, you're 47. I mean, finding somebody that's doesn't have any baggage. I mean, do you know, like the things that I heard, finding somebody where, and basically saying to me, you're 47, it's slim pickings out there. You've got a good one. Why like go for anything more? Like, what are you looking for? And then this kind of inference that there's something wrong, like that I should just be happy with what is, right? So how do you explain wanting more when nothing's technically broken? And when you have society, culture, family, people closest to you looking at you like, I mean, I wouldn't be too choosy, I mean, it's fascinating the things that come up. Like, you're like, I think I'm pretty good. Like, I think I'm a pretty good catch. So that's not drama though. That's discernment. And I really wanted to make that distinction today because I want you to be honest and ask yourself, have you ever felt that way? Where you're going, it's good enough. And there's this little part in you. It's not loud. There's this little part though that keeps nudging going, but what if we didn't say yes to that job? What if we did go travel? What if we did say yes to this job? What if we went for the thing that scares us? What if we took the chance? So I want you to be honest. Have you ever felt that way? Where you almost wish something was wrong so that you had a reason to walk away? So you could actually justify your decision, right? So when people go, what happened there? And they're kind of looking at you with judgmental eyes, you're like, oh no, this was wrong with them, or that was wrong with this situation, or that job didn't. It's harder to actually walk away when you're like, I'm walking away towards something different because I'm trusting my intuition and a desire in my heart and a feeling that I have and an inner knowing that there is something better. And I would rather take a leap of faith on the something better than have a life of okay, good enough, always wondering what would have happened if I just did that. Because the truth is, what's meant for you truly will still be or won't fully pass you by if it's truly meant for you, right? So that's where I want to say there's that moment where I had this big, is this it? The question of all midlife questions, is this it? Is this really all there is? And there was a quiet moment where I asked myself that, is this the rest of my life? Is this where is this where the next chapter starts? Where, it will be that staying here, doing this, what not, right? If we were going into the kid zone and all of that, does this feel true in my body? Would I feel fully expressed? And that answer was no. It was almost. I heard almost. You're so close. And almost is really dangerous. Guys, it's really a dangerous place. And I just want to speak into this. Have you had an almost moment? Almost is where people settle for decades. I didn't come this far to coast. I didn't come this far to only come this far. Can you relate to what I'm saying? I didn't build this much awareness. I haven't dedicated this much time to my own growth, my own healing, I've literally gone to like a doctorate of 22 years of transformation, being in the transformational space for like life in general, right? Transformation, trauma, like all of it. I didn't do all of that to have it stop here. I didn't come this far to go, it's good enough. I think I'm just going to say yes, right? I didn't build this much strength, this much self-love, this much discernment and trust in here to shrink into comfort. Comfort's where we go to die. Who said that? Somebody help me out here. Your comfort zone, you're not alive. When I started off this live, I said, I've never felt so alive and activated. Now, reinventing myself in real time, I just came from a family weekend where I live a very different life than everybody in my family. I had a conversation with one of my brothers last night, and he like could not comprehend what I was saying about like, I'm not comprehend it, but he was like, so yeah, you're like, basically was talking to me like, okay, you're going to go on a trip for like 2 weeks and then you're going to, and I'm like, no, I'm gone for 6 weeks in this country. Then I'm going to go here. And then I don't really know. And he was like, and then, so then you'll come back here though, but where are you going to go? And I was like, no, I'm just going. And I've got a one-way ticket. I'm going to see where it goes. And of course, I live a very different life, and he's never, I've done that before. I've done the one-way ticket before. I built my life that way. I like pushing myself in outside of my comfort zone. I feel most alive and activated. I was putting myself like round peg into a square hole, trying to go, you know, this is it. And I was like, but it's not. And everything in my body was like, I don't think so. Like, we've got a lot of life left, right? And so, and there's nothing wrong, by the way, if you're happy in your life. I'm speaking to those that are sitting there and they're feeling that quiet nudge. They know that they're meant for something different. They're really noticing, oh my gosh, for the first time, I can question who I've been. I can question what I have. It's okay to ask for more. And I believe now more than ever, women in this time and place in culture and society they're sitting there asking, they're saying, I want more. I can have it all. I just have to be okay with what I say no to, right? So really coming into the biggest thing for me in this reinvention, like when I say, like, I'm looking around and my home is in disarray right now. Like, the movers are coming at the end of the week. Like, I mean, there's just been so much, and I am a neat freak, right? Like, I don't even want to say freak, because I actually think it's a great thing that I'm a very organized, clean person. So I like things in their place. So like just living amongst the chaos. But there's been so much that's been transformational that I want to share with you, especially to support you and coming up on the new year. And I really want to speak into this. What I realized was something hard, and I wasn't choosing extraordinary the past so many years. And yes, I was in caretaking. I lost my mom Christmas of last year, not the one that just passed, the year before that. And there's a lot that changed. And I was very grateful to have my time with her. Wouldn't trade it for anything. But in that time, I really lost myself and tried to conform to wanting to live a way that truly wasn't aligned with who I am. And it's so wonderful to know who you are. I often talk inside our membership academy, Limitless, about if you are questioning who you are at any time, you can start to date yourself and find out who you are and what you like and what you don't like, because we're always changing. And who you are today is not who you were when you got married, or wasn't who you are when you started your career. It's not who you were a month ago, a week ago, right? We're always changing. We're always evolving. And that's a beautiful thing. And to think that we're not, and not checking in with ourselves the way we do when we're in a relationship, like, hey, are we good? We need to do that with ourselves. So what I realized when I really checked in was I wasn't choosing extraordinary. I was choosing acceptable. And there's nothing wrong with acceptable. It's just, it's not me. And if you've ever outgrown something that still technically works, then you know what I'm talking about, right? And it's hard to walk away from good, to go for great. So age and identity. Let's talk about age, because at 47, society wants you to stabilize, right? You're supposed to calm down, be grateful, stop reinventing, stop experimenting. You should have figured things out, right? And here's what I know at 47 that I didn't know at 27. I know when I'm shrinking. I know when I'm performing. I know when I'm settling. I know when I'm being a chameleon and dropping into the people pleaser, or, right? And I know when I'm not fully expressed or aligned. I know when I'm out of alignment. I can feel it in my body, and that is wisdom. Reinvention at this age isn't reckless. It's refined. There's a big difference, right? If you're over 40 and watching this, comment your age. I mean, I have no problems with age whatsoever. But I'd love to know who is here and if you're resonating with what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm here, I'm seeing all the comments, so yes. And thank you again for all the emojis. But this conversation is different at this stage of life, in midlife, than it is in my 20s. Like, I can tell you, I mean, I completely quit my job after 10 years when I was like 30 to start my business. And I just walked in. I had absolutely no plan. I had no idea about insurance. I lived in the most expensive city in the world. I had no plan. It felt completely different. It feels like there's higher stakes. There's more questions. There's larger amounts of fear. There's more reckoning. So what reinvention really looks like now for me at 47, and I just wanted to share with you, because if you're feeling this pull, if you're in a stage of reinvention, if things already changed a lot for you, as they are for the women inside Limitless Academy and the women in my reinvention program, from like literally moving, selling their homes, moving to new states, separations, starting new businesses, starting new careers, coming together in their partnership in a way that they haven't before, like so much inner reckoning. So reinvention in real time, I want to say, it doesn't necessarily look glamorous, right? It can. You can romanticize it in all the ways, but it looks like boxes. It looks like selling furniture. Like me right now, reinventing myself in real time, and follow as I'll be doing episodes of The Bold Life especially on my YouTube channel. Come over, subscribe, like all the things. It helps me so much. And I want to get to know you better and hear about what's going on in your life. But what it really looks like is right now, I was selling some of my furniture yesterday, decluttering half my life. By the way, amazing tip right now. If you have not decluttered, use these last 4 days to be ruthless. And a great tip is ask yourself, especially if you're in an era of reinvention and identity shifting, ask yourself, would the next level me wear this? That is a surefire way to get rid of at least half your wardrobe, because you will find that you are holding on to things from energy. You're holding on to them for memory. You're talking yourself into, well, if I need this at some point, get rid of things that do not meet the next level you. If you're not going to wear them a year from now, bye-bye, Felicia. If you don't want to even wear them out of your house now, if you wouldn't want to wear it today, then that's from energy and nostalgia, and you want to clear up that energy. You want to go into the new year with lightness, with a clean slate, because the universe abhors a vacuum, and it will bring in new. It will bring in new of the things that you get rid of. You get rid of furniture, it's going to bring in and bless you with new things where you go, I cannot believe I just found the most perfect chairs, and they were like a quarter of the price, and blah, that's how it works. You get rid of a bunch of clothes, trust me, you're going to end up getting gift cards. Things come in to replace the old. And there are blessings and miracles, and bless them in advance. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the blessings that are here for me. I'm so grateful. Ask for your desires to be met. So reinvention really looks like asking, do I love this? Or did I inherit this? Did I inherit this mindset? Did I inherit this belief? Did I inherit this identity? Right? Do I want this? And it looks like simplifying your life. It looks like choosing desire over optics. It looks like clearing space physically so you can think clearly mentally. That's the biggest thing that I want to say going in, especially in midlife, guys. We want to get rid of all the stuff. We don't need just endless 50 different clothes. Put your money towards other things, and things that are going to bring a richness to your life instead of just more stuff. Maybe it's higher quality food, higher quality supplements, higher quality skincare. I have a video coming out on all the upgrades that I did for myself in 2026, from, the electrolytes that I drink, to my coffee meal replacement of MTE, to my skincare. I put your money towards investing in your body, your temple, and your mind. Investing in programs, books, products that are going to support you and enhance you instead of just more stuff. Only keep stuff around you that actually psychologically anchors you into your next level identity. It should be you should walk in your home and it should feel rich. It should feel expansive. It should not feel cluttered and heavy and have all these things that remind you of who you've been in years past, unless you love those parts of you and you want to bring them back. So the other thing, like I said, reinvention looks like clearing space so you can think more clearly and create. The mind loves a blank canvas. That's when you get your best ideas. So there's no really dramatic soundtrack. It's just clarity. And clarity is quiet, right? Just like elegance and confidence is claimed. So have you ever decluttered something and realized it wasn't about the object, right? You got rid of it and it was about who you were choosing, right? It's who you were choosing to be. It's like, am I going to hold on to this or up level to this? And can I trust that something better is going to come in? Can I let go of the random pair of jeans that I've loved for so long to trust that I'm going to find something so much better, right? Can I let go of this specific object, right? And so that's what the reinvention season really looks like. It's a lot of letting go. It's a lot of asking yourself and going inward and continuing to kind of prune. It's almost like I'm getting, if any of you have studied Neville Goddard, he'll talk about like the pruning of the mind. And that's kind of what you're doing in your life. You're pruning and you're saying, I really want to only keep the good. And I'm just letting go of. I don't need to ruminate on it. I don't need to know where that belief came from or understand the depths of my trauma. Or I don't need to hold on to all these things. It's just taking up energetic space and physical space in my home, in my body, in my life. And there is freedom when you let that go. And what this looks like is peace versus numbness. For a while, and I really want to be very candid here, I tried to convince myself that wanting more was immature. I tried to tell myself, Melissa, it's really time to settle down and just buy a home and just stay in one place. And there's nothing wrong with that. I stayed at my place in California for almost 7 years, been here for almost 4. And I thought maybe expansion was about, my ego or kind of, I don't want to say ego in that sense, but more this desire to always kind of experience something new and different. I'm also Aries. So once we've kind of mastered one thing, we're pretty ready to go to the next. I think that's why many Aries will have multiple careers. I've done fashion design and marketing to, holistic nutrition, wellness, weight loss, then moved into full-on transformation, right? And then we continue. And now we're on the next chapter and we're in the bold life era. And so I thought, maybe adulthood means compromising. And there's a difference that I felt. There's peace in this season of my life, right? And then there's something that's called numbness, right? And there's stability, and then there's stagnation. So we've got peace versus numbness. Really understand the difference, and you will notice it, because peace is, I go to bed with a peace of mind. You're ready to go to sleep 9 o'clock. You're just really, you're in a felt experience and intentionality with your life, versus numbness, which is I'm numbing out, I'm doom scrolling, I'm overeating, I'm emotionally eating, I'm sitting in front of the TV, I'm staying up late for no reason. There's a difference. You really want to identify which one you're in. There's stability, which stability is not the age old, like my parents, it was you marker that you did it in life. You got married, you had children, you own a car, and you own a house. You retire by 50, if you're lucky. That's just not our lives. First of all, I don't want to retire. I really love what I do. It's just so different now. So we have to decondition. But this idea that stability comes from owning a home, from just being married with children, stability comes from you. It's an inner felt experience. And then there's stagnation. People often mistake stability living in Groundhog's Day and just being that's just what I do and it's good enough. And that's where, I question, right? I wasn't in pain. I just wasn't activated. I didn't feel alive. And you can feel alive in a day doing a multitude of things, but I really wanted to feel life. I wanted to live. I wanted to push the edge. I wanted to feel the discomfort, to know that I was growing. See, if we're just constantly staying the same, that's not why we came here. Our souls were animals by nature. Our souls came here to expand and to express. They don't want the same Groundhog's Day. That's how we actually age backwards, the longevity of the mind, through constantly learning, right? Learning new languages, going to new cultures, being activated in life. So I want to ask you, are you feeling activated or stagnant? And I wanted to feel activated by my own life, not chaotic, not like I need to push and strive and struggle, but activated, like I'm excited. I like that I don't exactly know what tomorrow brings. And yes, everybody's got different things in life. I do not have children. So there's a different level of stability, right? I was talking with my one sister-in-law and she's like, well, I don't know. Like, I just have to go with what's going on with the, you know, she's got a 2-year-old, like what happens with her, and that kind of plans my day. There's different levels. You have to know where you are, but you can still feel activated, energized, and excited in your day, no matter whether you're in one place. And you create and ask yourself, where have I created stagnation and where have I allowed it, versus being present to it and intentional in the life that I'm living. So what I teach and what I really like is, it's the standard, right? We really want to look at what are the standards that we set. The greats in any arena don't settle because something works. They refine, they expand, and they ask, what else am I capable of? And at 47, I found myself and I said, I'm not interested in shrinking into comfort. I'm interested in seeing what I'm made of, not from insecurity, but from curiosity. And there's something powerful about saying, I don't need to break down to upgrade who I am. That's sovereignty. Do you guys get? So yes, thank you. Okay. So the reframe that I did with myself was, I'm not starting over from scratch. I'm starting from wisdom, and that's different. And this isn't chaos, it's authorship. This isn't rebellion, it's refinement, right? And if you're watching this and something in you feels seen and you're relating, it's probably because you're feeling like there's something that you're ready to expand. And I really cannot stress this one enough. Midlife, like, I have a friend that's like, you know, I'm old, I'm 40. And I was like, I just can't. Like, it's hard to even hear you say this, like, be around it, because to me, it's so limiting. Why would we ever limit ourselves by a number? That a number is so attached to expectations. By 70, you should be falling apart. By 50, you should have been retired. You should have this much in your 401. By this age, you should. Who said? Like, things like archaic. Like, I mean, it's so ridiculous. You are the author of your life. So you're expanding. Midlife isn't a slowdown. It's the redesign. And if this conversation resonates, that's not from fear, right? And it's not from lack, but it's from ambition for your own life. And that's where you exactly get to speak into who you want to be and remind yourself, this is just the beginning. I'm getting started on my next chapter. If this is my book of life, the first 10 years were this, my next 10 years, now I get to look at the next 10 years. And I get to ask myself, what do I really want them to look like? If I have a year left to live my life, what do I want it to look like? Who do I want to be? And at the end of it, what do I want to reflect on and have lived? And if you don't have those answers, take some time to journal. Sit with yourself and allow the mind to expand, to open up. When you give your mind a job to open to that, your reticular activating system is going to go, yeah, what is possible? But when you stay in, this is what I do, this is the only amount of money that I can make because my job says this, and maybe I could get at the most a 10% raise. These are the vacations we're going to go on because we only get one vacation as a family. This is where, ask yourself, do I feel lit up and expanded by that? And what would need to shift? Not burn down. What would need to shift for me to feel excited and expansive? Could we do things differently? Could we do things differently? And what would that look like? And that's what I really want you guys to ask yourself. And so I just want to really, really say again, reinvention midlife is not starting over from scratch. It's starting from wisdom. Wisdom. And that's where we really get to come into know ourselves. And if you're going, well, I don't really know exactly who I am, then start there. Start by dating yourself, because here's the bold truth. Again, you do not need to break down to upgrade, but you do need to set standards. Standards for the woman, man that you want to be. Standards that ask yourself, what am I capable of? Am I actually living to my highest and fullest potential? What are the dreams that I've left unfulfilled? What are the things that I put on the back burner because I said I didn't have time? Do you know how many clients I have that when they got the new job, when they quit the job, when they retired, they go, I don't know what to do with myself. And I go, all those years that you said, if I just had the time, I would do. And now you know, you're like a fish out of water. And it's understandable. But this is where we want to ask ourselves, because we can start living that way now. I love, if you guys don't know Jesse Easler, he is married to, my brain is not working at the moment, the founder of Spanx, Sarah Blakely. And I was listening to one of his YouTube videos. I love learning from anybody that's older than me, has done better than me, and can give me insight. And he was talking about what he does for a powerful year. And he said that one of his childhood best friends, a cop, like does like 6 trips a year, where he takes like a 1-day trip, and he plans one like throughout, like one every other month. So he always has them to look forward to. So at the end of the year, he's done 6 like adventures, and he'll take his kids with him, and they'll do different things, whether they're going to go to like Yosemite or they want to like whatever. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Like it can be anything. And I love that. And it's talking about really finding ways to make your life as rich and expansive in your own right, that's going to work for you and work in your life. And that's what I want to encourage you to. It's about asking what you can do in that way. And so if you enjoyed this video, in the next live that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't said publicly yet. And it's what it actually costs to choose more, not financially, but identity-wise. The people that don't understand you, the friends, the family, and I'll share, but because the hardest part of reinvention, it's not logistics. Everyone always thinks it's planning and where are you going? What are you doing? It's who you have to stop being. And if you think this video was about boxes and relationships and moving, that's just the surface with reinvention. The real shift is internal. And I'm going to break down that exact next step. So make sure you're subscribed, because part 2 is where it gets really real. And I'm going to share with you exactly what has to be let go of, and what the new pattern interruptions need to be, and how you actually shift your identity in real time while you're doing this, so that you have that quantum leap. And if you don't know what a quantum leap is, it's when somebody goes from like they're in debt to $1 million in like 8 months, and you're like, how did you just do that? Or, you know, you've been watching them and you're like, your channel just went from like 500 views to 1 million. What did you just do? It's when we collapse time and have expansive, almost miraculous results, where you know that God played a hand. And that's the most fun. And it's also looking at yourself and having those really dropping into those big dreams. And I'm talking, if you don't know what your big dreams are, if I said to you, what would blow your mind a year from now, and you don't know, then you haven't been dreaming. And the imagination is the godlike mind. And if you aren't dreaming, well, then what are we doing? So stay tuned for part 2, where I'm going to take you through exactly what I did and what you can do too. Make sure to please subscribe, like, and share this video with someone that you know that needs it. And I wanted to, oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to answer this. What if you're not at 47? You can reinvent yourself at any time. Guys, you don't have to be 47. I'm 47. You don't have to be 47. You can be, oh my God, I've still got my sweat glow here. You can be any age. I've reinvented. I actually teach reinvention. So let me just share that. Hi, Gina. It's so good to see you, girl. And John, great question. Terry, so good to see you. Enya and Nan. I hope I'm saying this right. And Nanya. So you don't have to be in midlife. You can, my first reinvention took place. I mean, we reinvent ourselves at all times. When you went from grade school to high school, when you went through puberty, when you honestly, started dating, anytime you've taken on a new identity shift, any new roles in your family, all of these are different times when we grew in an identity, when we created an identity. When I really started changing what I was teaching, I had come from doing a lot in the transformation and manifestation and mindset. And then I was like, you know what? I want my clients to have continuous results. And I feel like it's like these big manifestations and then a gap, or, they move into something and would go great. And then they would rubber band back. And I'm like, they never shifted their identity. And one of the most profound identity shifts that I had was when I created a fit identity, when I was struggling from my weight, always being 10 to 20 pounds overweight. Really, I mean, I can share more, but I don't want to make this about weight loss, but, I had disordered eating, struggles with insecurity in my body, all these things. And I decided I was done. And I got to, I lived in Hoboken before, but my job was in Manhattan. And I remember I just sat there, and my friends were my three other roommates. We'd come home from work, grab a pizza, and they'd sit down and watch like Friends and like Sex in the City, totally dating myself. And I remember I was like, I'm so done feeling like I don't like what I'm seeing in the mirror. Like, I just want to lose weight in a healthy way. And and so I started going to the gym, and I had never really gone to the gym. That was not like a thing that I did. And so I started coming home from work and going right to the gym. And then I would come in and they'd all be laying around, and I would go and make myself something. And then I went into my room and I started reading, and I read these books called, I knew that I didn't like that. I felt like I had gone to school. Like, I started doing these like reinvention ideas, like my own glow up plan. I mean, this wasn't a real thing at the time. Social media didn't exist at the time, but I said to myself, I was like, I hate that I don't feel like I didn't retain American history. And so I started reading these things called the Daily Devotional. That's what it's called. Great books. And it had just snippets of American history. So I started reading that at night. I started doing skincare, and I would go into my room and I would work out at night, and then I would come home, have a healthy dinner, and I'd read before bed. And I started journaling, and I was always big on journaling. So I basically was doing my own glow up. And I sat there and I created, and I started to tell myself, I love this version of me. And then people at work noticed, and people were like, oh, and they started commenting about how I looked and what was I doing and what was I eating. And I started to change my eating habits, and I started learning about food. I started everything that I didn't know. I empowered myself with education around food, with understanding protein's good. What was I eating that wasn't? I started getting portions, all of these things. So, and then I started stacking all these habits. And then I said, I don't really like working out after work. I would love to have my nights so I still can be with my friends in a different way. And then I started going to the gym in the morning. And then I felt even more empowered, because my boyfriend at the time, he would go and he worked in finance. So we would get up at 4:30 in the morning, take the, whatever. And I would go to the gym, and I love that nobody was at the gym. I would get there at 5:30 in the morning. By the time I got into work, I felt like I forgot that I had even worked out, and everybody else was, oh, I have to go to the gym after work. And I was like, I'm already done. I have the whole night. I felt empowered. I felt proud of myself. I was releasing weight. I was learning about health. I was doing things for my mind. And that was my first time that I created a fit identity. And that identity has stayed with me now at 47. I went from never being the athlete to doing fitness competition. I went from, my brother was All-American in soccer. My other brother was fantastic with sports. I was like their cheerleader. I wasn't an actual cheerleader, but I played sports, but I didn't take myself seriously. That was my own identity. I just was the supporting role. And then I'm now the athlete in the family. And so you can change your identity at any time. So, Ananya, I hope I'm saying your name right. Forgive me if I'm not. Whatever you don't like about you that you want to change, and jealousy is such a good one. If you see somebody that you're comparing yourself to, or you feel jealous, that's an indication from yourself. Hey, I want to do that. I want to be the person. Go and be that. You in this life, it's you with you. No one's stopping you. Don't let judgment or inner critic or anything, or no matter how far away you feel from your goal. If money intimidates you, learn everything about money. Hire somebody to help you and educate you, or do an online seminar. If it's around wanting to change careers, like that's why I have a reinvention program, helping women to powerfully pivot in their purpose and in their life from identity. And identity meets purpose, right? Because you're nothing. You can have all the strategies in the world. Trust me, I've paid so much money to coaches. I've been in this industry a long time, so much. And if you don't believe that your success is inevitable, it doesn't matter how great your strategy is. It doesn't matter how good your coach is. If you don't believe in you and you don't, then your strategy, you will get there through hustle. And I've made a lot of money and been very successful hustling and working my butt off. I can tell you it's a lot easier coming from the identity of success, the identity of wealth, the identity of it's easy, it's fun, I love what I do. So I hope that helps and answers your question. You can change your identity until the day you die. So something you don't like, if you feel like you're not good with style, go and learn about and take pride in your appearance. If whatever it is, if you're like, I've been the single girl, then get rid of the single girl and move into I'm in a relationship. You can change your identity, but you have to create it. And that's why I have this barcode right here. This is my identity shift program. Guys, it's literally $44. It's a mini workshop with a workbook that takes you through exact how to create the self-image, self-concept in the most detailed way. So for those of you that are like, I don't really know who I am, I don't really know what I want, this is the best thing to do for you before the new year. Like wherever you're watching this, like I'm just telling you, it's worth the $44. Like I promise you. And if you want to only spend $33, we have another upgrade in 2026. Again, a powerful workbook, an activation, step-by-step guide. I want this to be easy for you. There is no reason for you to stay stuck, but we've got to get out of consuming and into applying and being, embodying, right? So I love you being here, but I want you to do, so I would love to hear from you. What did you get from the video and what are you going to do? What are you going to take from this today? I would love to hear. Please share this and stay tuned for our next live. And for those of you who haven't, it means the world to subscribe and comment on my videos. It helps the algorithm, helps so much, especially on YouTube, where I am committed and growing, and obviously on all the platforms. I'm so grateful for all of you, for our epic community and audience, and you just mean the world to me. Thank you for being here. Stay tuned for the Bold Life. We will have our season starting soon. And if you want to see the behind the scenes for Reinvention in real time with me, stay tuned, because we got the move happening this week. And I would love to hear, where do you guys think I'm moving to? You have to let me know what country. Where do we think I'm going? That's going to be the month of March. So stay tuned. All right, guys, all my love. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye. So hot. Did this not end yet? I'm like so hot. There's like way too many lights. I'm in a full sweat. I'm really looking forward to showering. Thanks guys for being here. I love you all.